I gotta put this right at the top of the video because you guys are amazing. With the last video that I posted, the Across the Spider-Verse video, we hit 200 subscribers. And you guys, I was really excited for that milestone because I'd been sitting at like 198, 199 for a while. And you guys actually got me to 215 as of writing this script, and the views on that video, you guys, I have no words. I cannot thank you guys enough. My videos don't make it much over 300 to 400, so I am absolutely floored. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and for talking about movies with me. Hello you guys, and welcome to another episode of I Watched It So You Don't Have To, the series for anyone that's looking for yet another movie review from a stranger on the internet, maybe one that's gonna help you decide to watch a movie or not. This time, we're talking about the movie that got me rambling, but if you can bear with me while I go off on tangent after tangent about these robots, then let's talk about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Optimus Prime and the Autobots find themselves faced with a new threat, one that can devour planets, and they must enlist the aid of humans to accomplish their mission. They soon find out about a powerful faction known as the Maximals, and they all must team up to save Earth. I have some gripes about this movie, but we'll talk about them later. Let's talk about how nostalgic this movie is. I'm not talking about all the 90s things because let's be real, once the movie started to lean more heavily on the Transformers, that kind of went away. I mean in the sense that this really felt like a Bay Transformers movie. So Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and The Last Knight are all Michael Bay movies, and Rise of the Beast felt very much like them in terms of formula. If you've seen any or all of the previously mentioned Bay movies, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Leaning on the human characters to go somewhere to acquire or unlock something that will lead the Autobots to the next point. Do that over and over and over again, and you got a movie. Now, I'm not saying this is bad. I actually really love the Bay movies, even if they're not all good, but my point is, it was very reminiscent of that franchise in a way that feels very familiar. After the 2018 Bumblebee movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting something different, but I'm not mad about it. Let's talk about the CGI, because it's just wild how we're given such bad CGI so often with some pretty big budget movies. So to see movies on the big screen that have seamless CGI, I just stare in awe because it just looks so good. From Optimus Prime to Air Razor and Bumblebee, I will say what I want about Mirage later. All the Transformers look incredible, and Scourge is booty, but he looks really awesome, and he's one of the Transformers that has fun little details about him that if you catch onto, it really informs his character just a little bit more. I got distracted, but the CGI is really amazing, from the textures to the lighting, and it really was awesome where it counted. And I'm not gonna say the CGI is flawless because it's not. It got really bad at some points, but I honestly wasn't really worried about it because where it mattered to me personally, it was incredible. Speaking of the look of the movie, let's talk, well, the action and locations. Speaking of looks, you know me though, we're gonna talk about the action first. I've always loved the action in the Transformers movies, and this movie is no exception. I love the close combat, the long-range attacks, and different types of weapons. And to see how the Autobots and Maximals work together within their own factions, and to see how those factions work together. The bigger fight that had the Maximals that I really wanted to see was just a very wide shot, and it was in the background. We did get some moments that were really awesome, but not enough moments with the Maximals to really appease that part of me that absolutely loves Beast Wars. If you don't know already, Beast Wars is a 1996 animated show, and the graphics might not hold up, and depending how old you are, you might laugh a little bit about how bad it looks, but the animation at the time, fantastic, and honestly, what really stands out in that series is the story and characters. But look at me yet again going off on a tangent. Let's talk about locations. And when I say that, I just mean Peru. Also, Cusco for the parade scene was so colorful and energetic. There were a few moments like this where we got to see this culture on screen, and it was really refreshing for the franchise as a whole. Jumping back to Peru, the film was shot at Machu Picchu, and from what I've read and seen, this is the first time. And wow, unbelievable. I really love not only the look, but the energy the location brought to the movie and what it did for the characters. I don't want to go too far into that, so let's talk about the acting instead. We're going to talk about the standouts for me personally, so you know we're going to talk about the GOAT first. Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, absolute legend. If you know, you know, but if you don't, Peter Cullen has voiced Optimus Prime since the original G1 cartoon. He's voiced Optimus in the Bay movies we talked about earlier, a bunch of TV shows and video games, and look at me turning this into a Peter Cullen fan video. Getting back on track, Peter Cullen brings an incredible presence to the film and to the Autobot team. He's got that iconic voice, but we really get to see a different side of him that I absolutely loved to see, that's completely different from that seasoned Optimus from the Bay movies. We're gonna sidestep and talk about Optimus Primal. Ron Perlman is amazing in this role with the time he had. Again, same with Prime, he really brought a presence and weight to Primal and to the Maximals. Optimus Primal really had a depth and power to his voice that makes you understand his strength and conviction right away. But the same can easily be said about Optimus Prime, so it was really amazing to see them on screen together. I hope you didn't think I was gonna not talk about Michelle Yeoh. Oh my goodness, ethereal. How else can you describe her? And her voice, oh my goodness. Her voice coupled with Airazor's beautiful design, stunning, immaculate, gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, the way I was looking at Airazor's beak for so much of her screen time, all the little pieces moving, is just so cool and probably one of the best, if not the best, character design in the entire movie. And we're straying again. Back on topic, Michelle Yeoh really brings a regal presence to the character that makes her feel genuine in regard to her team and other things that I don't want to give away. Let's talk about... We're almost done with this section, I swear, you guys. We're going to talk about the amazing Peter Dinklage as Scourge. I called Scourge booty earlier, and I'm not wrong. But we love a bad guy in these movies, and Scourge he's pretty bad. Going back to what I said earlier about how he has fun little details, well, they're not so fun when you know what they are. I don't recognize all the faction symbols, that's all I'll say about that. But the ones I do recognize leave me with a lot of questions. And if you know, then you know he's a really bad dude and a serious threat to the Autobots and Maximals. I'm sorry, I keep going off on tangents. I really love the Transformers and I love to really just let my mind race with questions and possibilities. Focusing back on Peter Dinklage, I was really surprised and I saw a TikTok where he was doing an interview and he was doing his Scourge voice and I love it. He did a really stellar job making this character stand out and making him sound really menacing and scary. For the human characters, let's talk about Dominique Fishback. I've only seen her in Project Power, and that was a few years ago, but I heard she is amazing in the Amazon show Swarm. So from what I've heard about her performance in the show and how she performed in this movie, I wish she had more screen time and was a more fleshed out character. As Elena, she was so relatable. I really love her curiosity and the little bit we got about her family and how that really drove her character. She has some hilarious moments and I just really wish we got more from her and her relationship with Airazor. So, I watched it so you don't have to, but was it worth the watch? Most definitely. This movie hit the nail on the head. Fun, family, action, adventure movie. If you're familiar with the Bay movies, I'm gonna compare a little bit just for a point of reference. If you love the Michael Bay movies, then you'll probably like this one. It's basically those movies, but more polished and scaled back. When I say polished, I mean that in terms of sex. And I really just mean the comments, the jokes, situations, and camera angles. However, I will say that Rise of the Beast is not without its immature humor. If you like that kind of humor, then the jokes will hit. But if you're like me, you'll be drowning in a theater full of laughter at a joke that isn't actually funny. When I say scaled back, I mean in terms of size, and I mean the world, the conflict, the characters, particularly compared to Bay's films, especially those ones toward the end of the franchise. Keep in mind, this is our first time with these Transformers. This is a reboot, it is not a continuation of the Michael Bay movies. So that said, it is connected to the 2018 Bumblebee movie and it is bigger than that movie. It's a bigger movie, but it's not too crazy and too over the top. Speaking of this movie being connected to the 2018 Bumblebee movie, I didn't actually add a what to watch section because you don't really have to watch anything, but I will say having seen both movies, you don't actually need to watch the 2018 Bumblebee movie. There is, I think, like one line of dialogue that references the Bee movie. But I will say that if you do watch the Bee movie, you're going to get more about Bee. You're going to get a little bit of their escape from Cybertron and a lot of the relationship between Bumblebee and the human character in that movie. And I'm going to go off on a tangent again. So if you've been wanting to see the Transformers on the big screen again, if you're looking for an action movie that's going to make you laugh a little bit or a lot, if you're looking for a movie with excellent CGI most of the time, and if you don't mind a predictable movie, then this one's for you. If you're looking for a movie that has no plot holes, if you're looking for a movie that is a continuation of the Michael Bay films, if you're looking for a movie with consistent and thoughtful humor, if you have hopes for a movie that's more centered around the Transformers, and I'm right there with you, or if you have an issue with the skin color of the human cast, then I would skip this movie and look for something else in the genre. Alright, Transformers fans, that brings us to the end of the video. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much. Check out the description below for a link to the podcast. If you're watching here on YouTube, leave the video a thumbs up if you liked the video, so I know you liked the video. Have you seen Transformers Rise of the Beasts yet? If you saw the movie, what did you think about it? I want to get this out of the way right now. I did say that I'm going to say what I want about Mirage. Here it is. I don't think it's a hot take, you guys. It might be. I didn't like him. He was obnoxious. He was annoying. And I know in one of my videos, I pointed out that I was kind of bummed out that it wasn't Jazz. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm over it. But the character was just too much. And he had so much screen time. I wanted him to go away. But he didn't. It was too much, too often. He was very much... So if you're familiar with the Michael Bay movies, the role that Bumblebee played as, I guess, what would you say, like the primary Autobot, the primary guardian Autobot to the human characters, right? That was Mirage. So he had a ton of screen time, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I can definitely see how that type of character can easily be loved by a lot of people. My opinion, he's just not my cup of tea. I have to say that if you are looking forward to seeing the Maximals on the big screen, I will warn you, if you have not seen the movie yet, don't expect a lot. I wouldn't say I expected too much, but it should have done a lot more. As you might be able to tell from the video, I love Transformers, and I went with my family to see this one, and I'm not gonna lie, when it was over and the credits were rolling, my mom asked me what I thought about the movie, and I told her it could have been better. I stand by that. It wasn't a bad movie, but it absolutely could have been elevated to not just one of the better live action Transformers movies, but a better movie overall. I keep seeing the review that's plastered all over the marketing, and I'm going to post a screenshot. The best Transformers since the first. Maybe if you've only seen the first, but hey, everyone has their own thing that they're rocking with, and I respect that. For me, the 2018 Bumblebee movie is one of my favorites, and Dark of the Moon is one of my favorite Michael Bay Transformers movies. Oh my gosh, you guys, do you remember when I told you that I watched the final trailer for Rise of the Beast and Unicron looked like he was transformed? And I was so excited about it. Spoiler alert, he didn't transform. I got you guys. Also, they need somebody in that room that can do Wheeljack right. He's such a cool character, and to see him get this kind of treatment twice is appalling. I didn't talk about him, but Anthony Ramos as Noah he's fine. He was definitely outshone by everyone in the cast, but I didn't really mind him. Wrapping all of this up, I am very much someone who has always been waiting for a Transformers movie with no humans. Focused on the Transformers on Cybertron like we've never seen it before. You guys, we're actually getting it. Now, full CGI would be incredible and my dream, but it's animated and honestly, I don't even care. Transformers 1 was announced recently and it's supposed to be an origin story set on Cybertron, and it's supposed to focus on the relationship between Optimus and Megatron. And the cast? Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime, Scarlett Johansson as Alita, Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron, John Hamm as Sentinel Prime, Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion, and Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. I haven't completely processed my feelings about Hemsworth as Optimus because I'm just so excited about Alita and Alpha Trion and Bumblebee. Since it's an origin story, B's gonna be able to speak. So like all of these little, and then what other characters gonna be there, you guys? I'm really curious to see how far back this is gonna go. And you guys, I'm getting off the mark again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know who your favorite Maximal is from the movie. Cheetor is one of my favorites from the animated series, and I honestly was expecting him to be my favorite coming out of the theater. But my guy had little to no screen time. He looks incredible, but unfortunately, just like Rhinox, he wasn't used very much. That said, my favorite Maximal in the movie is Airazor. Let me know your favorite in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next movie that I'm going to be watching for you. The next movie is going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. After that, I have tickets for Mission Impossible. I do like these movies for the most part, but I watched them when I was younger. Then I got back into them with either Ghost Protocol or Rogue Nation. It was one of the two of those movies. Honestly, I'm just here for the action, and I'm sure my honey will love that we're gonna watch all 6 movies before Dead Reckoning Part 1. So I hope you'll join me here on YouTube and the podcast, especially for those exclusive episodes. You can always check out the community tab here on YouTube or my Instagram for more updates. Thank you for hanging out with me and for watching. You can catch new episodes of I Watched It So You Don't Have To every Friday. But until the next episode, spread positivity, be safe, take care of yourself, and till all are one. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.